everybody, this is Angela Savage, the daughter of IndyCar driver Swede Savage. It's time to watch stories from motorsports. My buddy, Doug Kenny, loves to share the journey of people in racing, and he is an amazing dude. Drivers, owners, fans, and team members, watch the SFM podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny from Stories from Motorsports. I'd like to thank my buddy Josh Mabe for the YouTube work he did years ago that inspired me to create this platform. I'd like to thank my buddy Victor Sifton for convincing me to get back into it after my hiatus from 2017 to 2019. I have a very special treat for you all today with an amazing journey from an amazing racing figure. Drivers, start your engines.
I can speak to that for sure.
My first glimpse of GT America was in Nashville on that weekend. I just remember walking to an area of the course that I never had been to yet that weekend. I think it was the final day actually of before the race, and I just remember I smelled something, and it was obviously fuel, but it smelled like a mixture of fuel and soap.
Okay.
It was like a soapy one. And I just remember thinking, I've never smelled this kind before. Then I just walked 10 feet and there's a GT car being fueled up and prepared. It's an interesting gasoline they use.
Right, I'm sure they have interesting stuff. Well, it's a good way to cheat too. Put some sparky fuel in there, get a little extra horsepower, but that's but yeah, no, it's well, it was fun stuff. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. But again, it was the interesting, just an interesting course through the decades of how life sort of weaves its way to different destinations and probably one of the proudest things, even though the years I spent as race director and in my role with kart and champ car, those were turbulent waters for sure. But the what came of it, what I was able to establish was really the new model for race control, which is now used in both IndyCar and IMSA.
Yeah.
It's literally the model that I built, and remarkably, there's still a lot of the people that I hired in those days, 20 some years ago, that are still running. Bo Barfield is one of my guys. He's race director, longtime race director for IMSA, and was race director for IndyCar for a few years as well. Kyle Novak, another one of guys that I had an early relationship with, that's now race director for IndyCar. But importantly, it's the people and the model that I was able to establish in terms of how those rooms operate and how events are run is exactly what's being used today. And that was the you look at like other sports, people call them coaching trees.
Yeah.
But it was like Wally brought me in. So the question is, like, why did Wally bring me in? Well, he brought me in because he was ready to retire. Okay, so that that's Captain Obvious, right? But secondly, the reason he brought me in is because he knew that I would be able to bring it to the next generation. And I never looked at that like I was going to be the guy that was going to be there for 15 years or 20 years. I'm not even sure that was something that I wanted.
Yeah.
But what I wanted was the opportunity to bring things up to a new standard, taking advantage of emerging technologies, things that were becoming, available to us in terms of being able how you can officiate races. And to the point where even NASCAR and Formula One are both adopting things that I came up with in terms of ideas over 20 years ago are now popping in. You see it in NASCAR, you see it in Formula One. I could give examples, we don't have enough time for it.
Yeah.
But point being, Wally saw that in me, that I was going to be able to and capable of bringing the whole thing up to a new level, and then filling that room with new blood. And that's what I was able to achieve. And that's one of my proudest accomplishments in racing. It had nothing to do with driving a race car.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please hit like and subscribe if you did so, and please continue supporting our amazing guest. And everybody, we'll see you next time on SFM.
Hi, this is Ted Warner speaking. While the checkered flag is waved for this program, stay tuned for next week for the next episode of SFM. Thanks to Doug Kenny for what he does for motorsports.